Assalamualaikum guys, good evening. Okay, now I'm gonna introduce myself. I am Maulina Nur Ika Wulandari. You can call me Ika, and I am an Untak 45 Banyuwangi student minoring in the economics, taking the management program study. I am in 7th semester now. Okay, that's final semester now. Okay, now I want to tell the story of my life, namely about my love relationship. Maybe this is personal for most people, but I want to tell you why. Because for me, I like to share stories with people, and also as one of the requirement for me to able to pass the English certification exam. Let's go. Let's start with my love story. I have been dating for the first time since middle school, and there I have a relationship with people who have different belief with me. Why is that? Yes, because the situation in my environment at that time was that the majority of the people were non-Muslims, and I was still so unstable to believe in deeper matters relate to religion at that time. So we skip this part. I was finally in high school. Interesting and exciting things happened at that time. Okay. Starting from a new condition, a new mind, and all new things. When I was in the first grade high school, I was a kid who could be said to be lazy, not cool, and like insecure. Why? Because maybe at that time, it was puberty. So maybe I didn't feel confident about my life. About myself, sorry. Okay, at the time I was still in touch with the same people when I was in middle school. In the end, we broke up because of different belief. We both ended the relationship on good terms. Few months since, I was in a relationship with my own friend at the time. And at first it was unexpected because it just flew at the time, and unfortunately the relationship only lasts for about 2 months because I asked to break the relationship at the time. I forget the reason for what. I'm very forgetful, sorry guys. After the end of the relationship, I'm back in a relationship with someone, and at that time I was in the second grade of high school, guys. I had a relationship with the initial W at that time, and we were believers. We had a long relationship which is 8 months. For me, that is quite a long time in my history of dating. Why? Because I'm always in a relationship. It doesn't last long. Well, it stuck 3 or 4 months. Short, huh? That's Gemini. Okay, Gemini. In this relationship, there be many small problems that arise, and we can reduce them by communicating them well and understanding each other. Until the time this relationship has been running for 7 months, quite serious problem for me began to appear in this relationship. Honestly, I'm a person who easily think about things that can disturb my mind, not just about romance, but everything. Okay, everything. Okay, I will tell a little about this serious problem until finally especially I end this relationship. First, he went out of town because he wanted to participate in a motorbike race in a city that was classified and as one island with me. At the time, he asked permission to go there to participate in the race, and I agree. He went for 3 days to night. Yeah, 3 days to night. He went with his friends. Since he went to the city, strange things began to appear. From chatting not being answered, rarely contacting me, and many unusual things happened. Until the time he come home, I didn't suspect this because I thought he was busy in the city. I considered this problem complete. Time went on. When the relationship was more than 5 months old, he suddenly acted strange to me. After I asked him directly, it turned out that he was jealous and didn't allow me to hang out with my friends, and I was in dilemma. Why? Yeah, because I'm very confused. What I'm gonna choose, okay? At the same time, I already have an appointment to go hang out with my friend, and on the other hand, I have to obey that W says. That is, I cannot go out with my friends. W has started to sulk and get angry at me, while I'm confused about which one to choose, and I finally choose to keep going hang out with my friends while seducing the W not to sulk and get angry with me, because I also didn't want to disappoint my friends just because of him. When I go out with friends, my mood is messed up all the way. I just bow my head and keep my gadget to keep flirting on W, but in the fact he is still angry and sulking. The next day, we also meet and discuss the problem last night, and finally the problem was resolved by being well communicated. I immediately skip to the story which finally made me want to end this relationship, guys. It's a really long story, so I just skip it. Sorry. After that problem, gradually unexpected problems arise, and the problem that makes me still feel very hurt is what I will tell you. At the first, the W admitted to me that his cell phone had to be sold because it was to pay off his mother debt. Remember, guys, mom, okay, mom debt. And then I asked him how much he owed him and why he sold his cell phone. In essence, the cell phone was sold because it was due to pay off his mother debt. Meanwhile, what I knew at that time, his mother still had a small shop. In my mind, how come you cannot pay your debt until you have to sell your child's cell phone? But I threw away my thought and didn't want to ask him further for fear he would be offended. After that, in the end, we have not had any more communication since then, and I didn't think anything strange about him, because I knew that his cell phone was sold to pay off his mother's debt. Okay, I think I'm so stupid about love. Until one day, I was buying something for my iftar menu. It was in the month of Ramadan. I passed his mother's small shop, and he and his friend happened to be looking after the shop. I stopped and chatted for a moment with him because I also harbored feelings of nostalgia for him, and there was something strange between the two of them, because at the time the gesture of the W was very strange and seemed to be hiding something. Okay, until finally I ended the conversation and went home. Long story. One day the W brother-in-law asked me how I was doing, and I respond well. Okay, and then until finally I asked about his mother debt, and know what the answer is. Oh my god, it's all a lie. His mother never had any debt, let alone sell the cell phone belonging to W. And I was immediately shocked and didn't know how to speak, especially since he said his cell phone was sold, and we didn't communicate anymore for almost 1 month. Yeah, 1 month, and I immediately thought how stupid I was to be gullible for so long. Oh, and before it, he is still doing things that I think have no conscience at all. How come? Not claiming that his cell phone was sold, but it turned out that his cell phone was still there and connect with another woman. Really very sorry for me at the time, because it was really sad. Until finally I come to his boarding house and ask for an explanation regarding all his lies. And when I went to his boarding house, there were his friends. I walked up to him crying so hard, and I really admired. It was the stupid and embarrassing thing I did. I still remember clearly when I cried in front of them all. I was loved at by his friends, and when I returned the gift he gave me, he immediately wore it in front of me openly. How can I not be hurt? Such things have been very sad and painful of my life. Honestly, until now, I have never forgot their behavior at that time, and I'm still leave a scar on my heart. Until finally I asked to end this relationship, and I went back to my best friend's house so that I could calm my emotion later, and I will go home. After that incident, I was still experiencing a lot of trauma until now. Somehow, it was the most painful thing in my life. I was afraid to go back into relationship with other people. Long story short, after graduating high school, I decided to study on the island of Java. My struggle to be able to study in Java Island was quite difficult, starting for me filing the SNMPTN test, then taking the SBM PTN outside the island to spending hundreds of thousands of money, and finally the two routes didn't allow me to pass the test, and I gave up hope because I couldn't get to the college I want. But God gave another way. At the time, Untak was opening registration for second batch, and I just took it for a while to take the independent test, and thank goodness I passed at Untak Banyuwangi. And I immediately made new friends, new condition, new life, until slowly I was able to forget about the incident, and I was little bit able to reduce my healing trauma. Until finally I met a senior student from my friend initial L. At the time, the L was hanging out with the senior student to discuss training, and I was invited to be more precise, and I also want to come. And from there, I was introduced to the senior student, and until finally I was able to chat intensely with the O. This O is one of the senior student that my friend L introduced me to. Time passed until finally I had relationship with this O. I've been in a relationship with him for two years. Yeah, 2 years, long enough. He made me forget the old wounds that I keep so far, and he already had good fight towards me. Hopefully God will grant our prayers to be one day. Ask for prayers, the important thing, and this is the final, okay. The important thing that can be taken from my own story is, don't give your whole heart to him who has clearly hurt you, okay. Balance between heart and logic. If one of them stand out more, there will be unexpected things present in your story. And don't easily give trust if you've been disappointed. It's not easy to be 100% trusting again if you have been disappointed, and if you experience trauma, as soon as possible you go to a psychiatrist to find a solution, okay. Honestly, I've taken the wrong solution because I still let my healing trauma reside in me, because it will bad for your life. So maybe this is all I can share with you guys about my relationship. Honestly, I still embrace to tell about it, but it's okay if this can be used as learning material too. See you again. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.